Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we'll delve into the topic of sampling, a crucial process in collecting data from a population. So, let's get started. Sampling is the process of selecting observations, or samples, from a larger group known as the population. Think of the population, represented by, as the entire group you're interested in studying. The sample, denoted as N, is a subset of the population that represents it as a whole. Now, let's walk through the steps of the sampling design process. Define population. First, you need to clearly identify the population you want to study. This involves specifying the characteristics and boundaries of the group you're interested in. Determine sampling frame and process. Next, you establish a sampling frame, which is a list or representation of the population. This serves as a reference for selecting your sample. Additionally, you decide on the sampling process, either probability or non-probability. Choose probability or non-probability method. Probability sampling ensures that each element in the population has a chance of being included in the sample. It doesn't involve personal bias and allows for statistical analysis. On the other hand, non-probability sampling doesn't give every element an equal chance of inclusion and may introduce bias. Determine and examine sample size. Determining the sample size is a crucial step. It involves selecting an appropriate number of observations to ensure the sample represents the population accurately. Examining the sample size helps in assessing the reliability of the results. Execute sampling design. Once you've established the design and sample size, it's time to execute the sampling process. This involves selecting the actual sample using the chosen method. There are various types of sampling methods, and we'll explore some of them. Probability sampling. In probability sampling, each element in the population has a chance of being selected. It avoids personal bias and ensures fairness. Simple random or proportionate sampling. This method gives every element in the population an equal chance of inclusion. A random number generator is often used to select the sample. It works well for longer and homogeneous groups and requires minimal knowledge of the population. However, there's a higher risk of random errors. Stratified random sampling. The population is divided into two or more heterogeneous groups called strata. This method helps estimate and compare each stratum's characteristics. However, it can be costlier due to the need for accurate representation of each stratum. Cluster sampling. In cluster sampling, the population is divided into clusters or subgroups. Instead of selecting individual elements, entire clusters are chosen. Simple random sampling is then performed within each selected cluster. Systematic sampling. This method involves selecting every nth element after a fixed interval. It offers randomness and easy verification. Multi-stage sampling. As an extended version of cluster sampling, multi-stage sampling is useful for larger geographical areas. It involves sampling at different stages and collecting units at each stage. This method provides greater accuracy but can be costly. Non-probability sampling. In non-probability sampling, not every element has an equal chance of selection. Convenience sampling. Convenience sampling involves selecting respondents based on the researcher's convenience. It's a low-cost method but has restrictions in terms of representativeness and potential bias. Quota sampling. This method involves segmenting the population into different subgroups and selecting a specific number of individuals from each subgroup. It can be time-consuming and doesn't allow for measuring variability and bias. Judgemental sampling. In judgemental sampling, the researcher uses their own expertise to select specific items that they believe represent the entire population. However, bias in the selection process can occur. Snowball sampling. Snowball sampling starts with a key person who is interviewed, and then that person introduces the researcher to others. It's particularly useful in studying rare populations or specific situations and comes with a lower cost. Purposive sampling. Purposive sampling involves selecting individuals based on specific dimensions. It helps in targeting a particular segment of the population. When working with samples, it's important to consider sampling errors, which are differences between parameters based on the population and statistics based on the sample. Sampling error. Sampling error occurs because the sample is not the entire population. Even in random sampling, there will always be some degree of sampling error. Non-sampling error. Non-sampling errors can result from biases, mistakes in sample selection, poor sampling methods, errors in questionnaires or measurements, behavioral effects, inappropriate data analysis, or misunderstandings of concepts. To reduce sampling error and enhance the accuracy of your results, here are some strategies to consider. Effective pre-testing. Conducting thorough pre-tests can help identify and rectify potential issues before collecting the actual data. Controlling bias. Implement methodologies that minimize bias in the sampling process. Ensuring random selection and minimizing researcher influence can help. Selecting the right sampling techniques. Choose the sampling technique that best suits your research objectives and population characteristics. Selecting specific problems. Focus on specific problems or areas of interest to ensure a more targeted and precise approach to sampling. Systematic documentation. Maintain systematic documentation throughout the sampling process to ensure transparency and replicability. Increase the sample size. Increasing the sample size can reduce the impact of random variation and provide more accurate estimates of population characteristics. And that wraps up our exploration of sampling and its design process. Remember, selecting the right sample is crucial for drawing valid conclusions from your research. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more educational content. Thanks for watching.